Okay, well, we'll stay there both of you a second. And stay there, please, Ty and Dermot as well. Let me go to Danny. Danny, you're on Classic Hits. Danny, you're from a group called Children Need Fathers. Yep. And do you believe... Now, this email came to us from somebody who... I don't know if you've heard the whole email there, Danny, at the start of the show. She basically says that her teenage daughter's father now wants to come back into her life. He basically done a Danny, literally, pardon the pun, he did from the day she was born because he was a drug user. And now she said she's heard from family members that he's claiming that he's clean and his life is back on track and he wants to come back and have a relationship with his daughter.
Well, if he's clean, then he needs to do a drug test and be proved that he's clean. If he is, then he should be allowed to see that child. A child has a right to have a mother and father in their lives. I've helped numerous fathers, thousands of fathers, that are being denied access to their children and have to go through the court system. And
I don't think that's the case here. I think he denied his own access by not being around for 13 years.
Well, then that's his decision. But if he's now deciding to come back into the child's life, then that's the child's decision, if she's 13 years old, whether she wants to see him or not. That's not for the mother to determine whether the child can see her father or not. The mother doesn't have a right to use that child as a weapon.
But the mother is the guardian of the child.
Yeah, but it takes two to make the child. It takes the mother and the father to make the child.
She has a job to protect that child.
Exactly. She has. What happens if this guy suddenly meets this child and for everything is great for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then he falls off the wagon and he goes back into drugs and he fucks off again and he leaves the child and the child is left high and dry?
Well, then if he goes back onto the drugs, then the contact gets restricted, doesn't it? It gets taken away from him. That's his choice and that's the decision.
Wonderful.
But where does... Well, hold on a second, lads. Well, you know, Danny, I understand what you do, and I'm sure you do great work for men genuinely who have been denied access to their children, and that happens, as we talked about it the other day, in the rights of fathers, etc., and I completely agree with everything you're probably going to say in relation to that. But here's a man who's probably denied his own access because of his issues. What gives him the right to wander back into her life again when she's 13 years of age, after the mother has probably done a great job raising her? Surely that mother then has more right to turn around and say, hold on for a second, pal, here. Piss off. You know, you wanted nothing to do with this girl for 13 years of your life, and you think you can just wander back in and mess her life up whenever you feel like it?
Absolutely.
You know, I understand what you're saying, Danny, for protection of fathers and fathers for justice and all that kind of stuff, but this is not a simple case. This is not your standard case. This is a guy who denied his own access to his daughter.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that he should wander straight back into the child's
But that's
life.
what he wants to do.
He should come back into the children's life, but it should be gradually. It should be that he's gradually got to build up that bond and trust again. But
he's a complete stranger. You know, that's almost saying to your daughter, here's a complete stranger.
It's like it's a contact centre. You might have to do a contact centre or something and gradually start off building that relationship and trust up with that child.
And what happens if the child, let's say, not in this case because the child seems curious, what happens if the child doesn't want a relationship with the father who says, well, I don't want to meet him?
Well, then that's something that the father's going to have to deal with.
Okay, so that's the end of it then. You'd be happy enough with that, would you?
He's got choices and means to go through the courts to try and get access if that's the choice that he wants to take.
The thing about it is, Danny, we're not talking about a man who fell out with the wife when she was pregnant and he went off and he worked hard and he got a house and he had a good life and everything was great. We're talking about a scumbag that just fucking... all right, no, it's not fair to say he's a scumbag. He's a drug addict, but the point is he went down a very seriously wrong road, and it's a road that it's a wagon that you will fall off very, very easily. And the point is, while we're all talking about the mother and the father and the whole lot, what is in the interest of the child to meet up with this man if he's going to screw her life up? If it's not for 1 year or 2 years.
Well, hang on, one at a time. Sorry, you want to say something, Joseph? Go ahead.
You know, I just like, how does he know all of that? You see, if the guy is off the drugs and he slowly builds up trust, he is entitled to be in the child's life, especially if the child wants her there, wants him there. And, you know, these guys are just ultimatums, like, you know, he's gone, that's it, forever, never again.
No, he's gone.
Many people.
He's gone from her life until she is an adult and she can make her own life. That's my theory is leave it until she's 18 and then she's out the door. The mother has no more say.
Hold on a sec. You know, look, it sounds like, when I'm only guessing because I don't know 100%, but the mother made a bad choice day one and put her daughter in this position because she created a child with a drug addict. You know, unless he just became a drug addict right after the child was conceived or something, and I doubt it. So the mother is responsible here. It sounds like she had a bit of a relationship with someone.
Well, she did, yeah. Who was a drug addict.
Yeah.
And then obviously when she got pregnant and had the baby, she went, this is not the best way to raise a child with somebody who's, you know, a waster and a drug user, so let's get rid of him.
But that's not the issue. Hold on, that is not the issue. That's like saying that the child is the product of this relationship, whether he was on drugs, she was on drugs, whatever. They were the adults. They produced the child. That's not the issue. The issue is what is the best for the child. It's not what's best for the mother, not what's best for the father, not what's best for fucking Niall Boylan. What's best for this child is the issue. Forget the product of it. Forget the fact that he might have been shooting up when she got pregnant or whatever. That's immaterial. That was 13, 14 years ago. It's what's today, what's happening now, what is the best for this child.
Well, I mean, Danny, from, you know, your experience, is this common? Is this a common issue that a guy would kind of do a runner on a pregnant girl, 10, 12, 13, 14 years later decide, that was a big mistake, I think I want to be part of that child's life and want to come back again? Is that common?
There's a lot of deadbeat fathers out there, and I call them deadbeat fathers. That they want to just get their dicks wet practically, and then they fuck off and come back years later. But then there's thousands of fathers like myself who are going through the system that want to be a part of their children's lives, and are being denied by the secret justice system.
And Danny, I agree with you, and that is catastrophic that a parent is denied the right to be part of a child's life. You should have equal access, similar to America, where everybody starts at 50-50, and if you piss off somebody, well, then you lose part of that contract. Yeah, okay, but this is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the deadbeats, as you refer to, who don't want to be part of the child's life, and then suddenly, when the child is 12 or 13, they go, oh, well, actually, maybe I do. I've never paid a penny. I've never done anything for this child, but I want to wander back into the child's life. Surely that's not in the best interest of the child.
Well, the family law system is based on balance of probability. So it's whether he poses any risk to the child. If he's not posed any risk to the child, then the family court systems are going to say, well, he's entitled to see his child.
Okay, well, do me a favour, stay there. I've got to take a break. Loads and loads of people texting in at 53544.